Fixing a truck for a strange farmer in the middle of a snowstorm, while your own house still has leaks. Passers-by, no one stops to help, as Liam kneels down to fix the old truck. While his young son is having an asthma attack, huddled in the car, clutching his sketchbook, his sad eyes staring through the window. The next morning, 3 black SUVs suddenly pull up in front of his house, strange figures step out, and an invitation to a place he's never heard of. An invitation that will change Liam's life forever. Hi everyone, welcome to TNM. Let's uncover what really happened. Liam Brooks, 36-year-old, lives in Claybrook, is a small town nestled in the mountains of northern Oregon. He doesn't show up for church parties, and no one calls him out for a beer on Friday night. But every day, he wakes up at 5 a.m., brews a pot of weak coffee, prepares a simple breakfast for his 7-year-old son, Noah, and quietly starts his old pickup truck to go to the mechanic shop at the edge of town. Liam used to be a good mechanical engineer. He used to have the opportunity to work at big factories in the next state, with triple the salary, modern equipment, full insurance. But all of those opportunities have been turned down by him since that fateful phone call a year ago. That day, his wife, Sarah, was on her way home from work, carrying a birthday cake she had baked for Noah. Her car skidded on a slippery mountain pass. No one knew exactly what happened, only that when Liam arrived at the scene, the car lights were still on. The wheels were still spinning slowly, but Sarah was gone. From that day on, Liam tried to be both a father and a mother. He learned to cook from online videos, learned to braid Noah's hair when he wanted mommy to be there, and learned to hide his pain in soft laughter. Everything he had been, a promising mechanic, a man who thought he could control his life, now boiled down to a single goal: keeping Noah safe and happy. Noah was a sensitive child. Since his mother's death, Noah was no longer the happy, mischievous boy he used to be. The boy became quiet, and instead of running around in the yard, playing with his friends, Noah often sat quietly in the corner of the classroom or in the car, holding a crayon, drawing pictures of the family of 3, always a small house, a long-haired mother smiling, a tall father fixing a car, and the boy holding a balloon. It was just that. Noah's smile in the pictures always shone brighter than in reality. One day, when it was raining, on the way to pick Noah up from school, Liam glanced at the rearview mirror. The boy was sitting huddled in the back seat, hugging his bag, holding a crumpled piece of paper. "What are you drawing, Noah?" The boy held up a crayon drawing of him in a hard hat. His back bent over the hood, sweat pouring down like rain. "This is Superman car repair," Noah mumbled. "That's Dad. Dad's strong." Liam smiled slightly, but his eyes stung. "Thanks, Noah. But Dad is just a normal person." The boy was silent for a few seconds, then said, "If Mom were alive, would she draw Dad like that?" The question made the air in the car thick. Liam said nothing. He just raised his hand to turn on the broken heater. The cold wind blew in, then nodded slightly in the mirror. "Of course, son. I'm so proud of you, and me." Their house was at the end of a dirt road, about 15 minutes from the center of town. A prefab house, rusty tin roof, peeling paint on the walls. But inside it was always clean and tidy. In the corner of the living room was where Liam set up an old wooden table to fix machine models, something he did after Noah fell asleep. With only yellow lights and the sound of wind whistling through the cracks in the door, no one would hire him to fix those models. But Liam believed that skills are like muscles. If you don't exercise them, they will wear out. And more than that, he was afraid that one day, if he fell, no one would take his place to protect Noah. He couldn't let Noah feel deprived, even though he was struggling with his own emotional pain. So he turned down all the attractive job offers to work at a small garage near his house, where the boss paid him by the hour, no insurance, no contract. After his shift, he took on extra work as a porter at a junk shop or cleaning cars at a gas station, anything that was legal and could afford Noah's asthma medication. Every night, while his son slept, Liam would sit by the window, watch the distant lights cast on the snow, and close his eyes and tell himself, just let him grow up safe and happy. That day, the wind started to pick up at noon. Snow fell earlier than usual. Liam asked to leave work early. Stopped by the grocery store down the street to buy a chicken, something Noah always reminded him of when he was sick after an asthma attack. "Dad, make chicken soup like Mom." He wrapped the chicken in a paper bag and placed it in the back seat next to Noah's school bag. As Liam picked up his son from the school gate, he saw Noah holding a new picture, this time of the whole family. The three of them stood side by side in the snow, holding hands, with the words written neatly in crayon. "I miss you, Mom." Liam said nothing, just squeezed his son's hand and nodded slightly. They got into the cold car, the engine roaring a few times before it started. On the way home, the snow began to thicken. Liam looked through the rearview mirror and saw that Noah had fallen asleep after a bout of asthma that had tormented him all night, still clutching the picture tightly. Blows of cold wind began to whip straight at the glass as if trying to tear away the last bits of peace in Claybrook. The wind howled in gusts, the pine trees on the side of the road bent. The snow fell as if the sky was tilting, covering the entire road in white, hiding the line between the sidewalk and the abyss. Liam gripped the steering wheel tightly, his eyes never leaving the narrow road ahead, now as white as an unlined sheet of paper. The old pickup truck shuddered every now and then, reacting to every pothole hidden under the snow. The heater rattled, the wind whistling through the foggy glass. Liam glanced quickly at the rearview mirror. Noah was still sleeping, his head against the seat, his arms tightly wrapped around the family portrait, as if it were the last warm blanket keeping him from the cold outside. Suddenly, around the bend at the edge of the forest, Liam caught a glimpse of a dark shape. At first, he thought it was a fallen tree, but as he got closer, his heart sank. A pickup truck, skidding off the road, its lights flashing as if they were about to go out, the hood wide open. An old man stood trembling beside the truck, waving weakly. His silver hair was matted in the wind, his old wool coat torn in many places, one hand clutching his chest, the other clinging to the rearview mirror for dear life. Liam slowed down. He looked back at Noah. The boy was still sleeping. A stirring rose in his chest. He had to keep going, go home, heat up the chicken soup, keep his son safe. But the old man's eyes, those eyes kept him from leaving. A few cars passed by on the other side. All of them were speeding through the storm, as if they didn't see anything or didn't want to see anything. Liam gently squeezed the steering wheel, then turned on the signal and pulled over to the side of the road. He rolled down the window, the cold air rushing in like a wild animal. "What happened to your car?" The old man staggered closer, his voice trembling. "Sorry, my car died. I can't call anyone. No one is coming with me," Liam replied. He shook his head. "I came down from the farm in the mountains alone." He didn't forget to tell Noah and put on a thick coat. "Stay still in the car. Wait for me. If anything happens, honk the horn to let me know," Liam said. Then he quickly checked the mirror to make sure it was safe and got out of the car. The wind whipped at his face like a whip. The snow hit his cheeks, numbingly cold. He pulled up his collar, put his hat back on, and walked to the front of the old man's car. When he opened the hood, a sudden gust of wind blew up, blowing the iron piece off, hitting Liam hard on the forehead. Damn it. Blood oozed out, dripping onto the snow, creating a red streak that stood out against the white. The old man panicked. "You're hurt." Liam wiped the blood away with his hand, frowned slightly, and shook his head. "It's okay. Just stay in the car. Don't let the wind knock you down again. The battery is weak. The wiring system is broken," he muttered, moving away from the wind as he spoke. His fingers were numb, but he still patiently turned each screw, reconnected the ground wires, and used pliers to clamp the wires securely. The old man staggered to open the door, reached out with a trembling hand to grab Liam's shoulder. "You, don't push yourself too hard. It's okay. I'm a mechanic." Liam spoke as if he was talking to himself. His back was drenched in sweat despite the sub-zero temperature outside. He crouched down, shielding the engine from the wind. His hands were stiff, his nails cracked from the cold. But he continued, as if he stopped, everything would freeze, the car, the old man, and the fragile beliefs in his heart. A silver SUV passed by, then another. No one stopped. The old man just bowed his head, huddled on the side of the road. "I've been standing here for almost an hour. No one stopped." Liam didn't respond. He was busy tightening the last bolt. Sweat mixed with blood running down his face, soaking into his collar. He closed the hood, tried to start the car. After nearly 20 minutes, Liam put the hood back on, tried to turn the key. The engine roared to life, then stopped. A second time, same thing. His fingers were red from the cold. Liam took his flashlight from the toolbox in the car, held one end with his teeth, and continued to work. He reached into his pocket, pulled out an old jumper cable, and connected it to his truck, his hands shaking from the cold but not losing his precision. "Give me a minute," he said, and turned back to the car, starting his pickup. The indicator light was flashing. Noah stirred now, eyes opening blearily, to see his father walking through the snow without returning to the truck. "Dad, what are you doing?" Noah asked, his voice lost in the wind. Liam turned around, raised his hand, and smiled. "I'll help him a little, son. Stay in the car." Noah sat back, hugging the painting tightly. Through the frosted glass, he saw his father's silhouette hunched over in the wind. Blood still dripping from his forehead, but his hands still working hard. Not a word of complaint. 1 minute, then 2 minutes, the old man's engine vibrated, then finally started. A small sound in the space roared, but it made the old man's eyes moist. "Oh my God, thank you. You just saved me from freezing to death." Liam said nothing. He unhooked the jumper cable, checked it one last time, and then closed the hood. Every gesture was still precise, even though his hands were now purple from the cold. The old man held Liam's hand tightly, trembling, and repeated, I've been standing here for over an hour. Cars have passed by, but no one has stopped. I thought I was done for." Liam looked at him and nodded. "Go home early. The road is long, and the snow is falling faster and thicker." Then he turned back to his car and started it. The lights were on, the engine still warm. Noah sat there, his eyes filled with tears. "You're a real superhero," the boy said softly, then reached up to wipe the blood that was still on his father's forehead. Liam laughed softly, his voice hoarse. "Superheroes get hurt too, son. But they still work, because someone needs them." The car continued to roll through the snow, leaving behind 2 deep tire tracks, a testament to the fact that in the coldest storm, kindness still burns, quietly but steadfastly. The snow was still falling, but it no longer whipped against the windshield like a whip. It was now just a silent white blanket that covered the ground, like a thin blanket slowly enveloping a world that had just been through a storm. The headlights cut through the fog, illuminating the deserted country road, and there, the silhouette of an old truck rolled silently towards the last light of night. Liam gripped the wheel tightly, his hand still sporting a rough bandage covering the gash on his forehead, a gift from the wind that blew the hood off when he helped the old man. Every time he tilted his head, the wound burned like a reminder. He had chosen to stop, to do the right thing, and had to pay the price. The rearview mirror reflected the eyes of his son, Noah, looking out the window, but not quite observing. He was thinking. His eyes were quiet, no longer mischievous like children his age. Liam realized this, as he had always realized since Sarah, the wife he loved with all his life, left them. Suddenly, a small voice rang out, hitting him lightly like a pebble falling into a still lake. "Dad." Why didn't anyone stop to help him? Liam glanced at the mirror. Noah was still looking out, his voice not blaming, just curious. And sometimes, childish curiosity was a mirror that could see through an adult's heart. I don't know either. Maybe people are scared or simply don't want to get their clothes wet. If it were Mom, would she stop, Dad? Liam didn't answer right away. His throat tightened. For a moment, the storm outside seemed quieter than the storm inside him. "My mom would definitely stop," he said, smiling slightly. "She always stops for others, even when she's tired." Noah nodded slightly, then turned to look at his dad. "I drew Mom when you were fixing the car." The boy held out a piece of paper, slightly crumpled from holding it tightly in his pocket in the cold. On it was a rough but affectionate drawing, a man bent over a car, his coat flapping in the wind, blood running from his forehead, next to a woman with ghostly wings, resting her hand on his shoulder. And in the distance, a boy, Noah, was sitting in the car, looking out. Liam took the drawing, silent for a long time. When he got home, he didn't turn on all the lights. Only a yellow bulb in the kitchen lit up, casting a warm glow over 2 shadows, one large, one small, sitting at the dining table. Liam reheated the chicken soup, a familiar dish that Sarah used to make whenever Noah was sick. Now, he cooked it not because he was sick, but because he hoped to recreate some of the sweet memories of the past. Noah sipped the soup spoon by spoon, his eyes tired but gradually warming. Outside, the snow was still falling, but inside the old house, people's hearts gradually quieted down. After putting Noah to sleep, Liam put on his coat and walked out to the garage. The truck's steering wheel was off the ice, and he wanted to fix it, because he had to get up early tomorrow morning to deliver groceries to the butcher shop down the street. A flashlight was fixed to the corner of the wall, flickering like an old oil lamp. He took off the tire, checked the axle. His hands were cold, and the wound on his forehead was still oozing dry blood. As he rummaged through the trunk for a cushion, he found a small piece of paper that had fallen from between the passenger seats, stuck to the glove he had taken off in a hurry. A pale yellow piece of paper, neatly handwritten. Joseph M. Callahan, 326, Whispering Pines Road. Come when the sky clears, if you believe in goodness. Liam frowned. Joseph, that was the name. It was the old man. He picked up the paper, his eyes looking into the distance, as if the snowflakes outside were leading him on an unnamed journey. The next morning, Liam was strapping Noah in when the phone rang. An unknown number. He picked it up, his voice hoarse. Hello. Excuse me. Is this Liam Brooks? A middle-aged man, deep and calm. Yes. Who is it? I'm calling from Whispering Pines. It's about Mr. Joseph Callahan, the man you helped last night. Liam gripped the phone tightly. He looked out at the trees in front of the house, the snow covering everything. But what he didn't know, the thing that was about to cover his entire life in white, wasn't snow. The snow had stopped falling, but the cold wind had not let up, still whipping Liam's face, stiffening his hands on the wheel. He looked out the window, through the mist, trying to find some sign that he was going in the right direction. In the dim light, the road ahead seemed to disappear into the gray forest, growing lonelier by the minute. Whispering Pines Road. The name had haunted him since the old man had invited him here this morning. A place not on the map. No one had mentioned it except for a few whispers in the wind. Now, the path to a strange world that Liam could not understand. Noah sat quietly in the back, clutching his sketchbook tightly in his hands. The boy said nothing, only occasionally glancing out, his eyes holding something that Liam could not read. He couldn't help but think about the painting Noah had just finished before getting in the car. His mother, as always, smiled with every stroke. But this time, there was one difference, the light. A strange light seemed to radiate from that painting, as if in the dark world, something was slowly awakening. The iron gate appeared unexpectedly when the car was still a few hundred meters away. It stood there, ancient and silent, like a door leading to another world. The two black iron gates curved in the shape of a dragon and an eagle, rising as if to protect some secret, then automatically opened when the car approached. A creaking sound rang out, a low sound like a sigh of the whole world, as if the trees and the sky were listening. The paved road led into a large campus, where 3 shiny black SUVs were parked silently. Although the early morning light was still weak, those cars still made Liam feel something very strange, especially the stark contrast between these luxury cars and the simple, peaceful atmosphere of the surrounding countryside. As the car stopped, Liam couldn't help but feel that something was wrong. But his instincts told him to keep going, even as the feeling of anxiety followed him every step. Something was waiting for him. Something bigger than this road, bigger than the questions in his head. The large door of the wooden villa opened, and the old man stepped out to greet him. This time, he was not wearing his old peasant clothes, but a charcoal cashmere coat and a neat white shirt. On his wrist, Liam caught a glimpse of a Swiss watch, an item that only the upper class possessed. The old man was definitely no ordinary man. "Good morning, Liam," he smiled. His voice warm but authoritative. "Thank you for coming. And hello to my little nephew." Liam just nodded, still feeling somewhat puzzled. The old man bowed his head to Noah, who nodded in return. But no one said anything more. Everything was moving so fast, as if it were all part of a grand scheme that Liam couldn't quite grasp. A middle-aged, silver-haired woman led Noah out to the back garden. It was a quiet space, filled with natural light, with a small studio filled with drawing tools, paper, and colored pencils. Liam's palms warmed as he watched Noah pick up a brush, sitting down with a strange concentration. His drawing was no longer just a picture of his mother. But now there was something else in each stroke. Light. It made Liam feel as if he was witnessing a magical part of his son's life. Liam sat across from the old man in the warm living room, with a blazing fireplace, surrounded by black and white photos. One of them was an old photo, in which the old man stood next to the U.S. president, apparently on some important occasion. Liam couldn't help but be surprised. Who was this man? Why did he have such a relationship? Who are you? Liam couldn't help but ask. The old man just smiled and replied, "Just someone who has received help, like you did to me yesterday." The answer was vague, but it made Liam feel that something invisible was covering this space. Behind that simple look and smile, there was an untold story, a story that the old man didn't want to reveal, at least not yet. Before Liam left, the old man handed him a thick envelope. "It's not money," he said, as if he could guess Liam's thoughts. "Just an invitation. To start over. Somewhere where kindness isn't considered stupid." Liam didn't open the envelope right away. He just squeezed the old man's hand. A firm handshake. It felt like these two men both understood what it meant to lose, what it meant to stand up, and what it meant to start over. As Liam and Noah walked back to the car, he still felt strange. It didn't seem like a normal meeting, but a milestone that he couldn't quite comprehend. The card the old man had given him was still in his pocket, but Liam hadn't opened it. He had a feeling that it wasn't now, not right now. The road leading out of the strange mansion was as wide as before. However, Liam felt something different flowing in the air, an invisible change that he couldn't see but could feel clearly. As the car drove out of the mansion, Noah suddenly spoke. "Dad, what are we going to do next?" Liam looked at his son, seeing his eyes bright and curious, his innocent gaze devoid of any fear. "I don't know, Noah, but I don't think we'll ever be the same again." The words were like a curse in the silence of the snowstorm, a promise that even Liam could not have foreseen. But he knew that something big was waiting for him. When they returned to their small house, night had fallen. Snow was falling heavily, the roads were starting to be covered in white. Liam looked at the family photo he and his wife had taken by the lake. The pain came back, but this time, it was not so heavy. A strange feeling of relief rose in his heart, as if he had found a part of himself that he had long lost. At that moment, the doorbell rang. Liam went to answer the door, and when the door opened, he could not believe his eyes. 3 black SUVs, luxury cars he had never seen before, stood silently in front of the house. The car doors opened, and from them, a man in a black suit, with silver hair, stepped out. Not a stranger, but one of the men in the photo the old man had shown him. One of the men standing next to the president in the black and white photo. "Good evening, Liam," the man said. His voice warm but authoritative. "I'm Michael Anderson, representing the Anderson Group." Liam just stood there, not knowing what to say. It felt like a dream. It was all so unexpected. What was happening? "Who are you?" Liam could only ask. Michael smiled, his gesture gentle but heavy. "We've been watching you for a long time. We don't just help people like you. We give them opportunities that can change their lives." And then, the man signaled for one of the bodyguards to open the door of the 3rd SUV. Another man stepped out, carrying a suitcase. Michael Anderson stepped forward, extended his hand to Liam, and said, "We would like to invite you to join the Anderson Group, Liam. Not just because of your mechanical talent, but because of the character and perseverance you have shown throughout your life. You have overcome many challenges, and now it is time for us to help you go further." Liam looked at the papers in the suitcase. He could not believe his eyes. The Anderson Group, one of the largest corporations in the country, wanted to invite him to join. But what surprised him even more was that this invitation was not limited to a simple mechanical job. Michael continued, "Not only will we help you with your job, but we'll also help you build a network, help you develop your talent, and even provide you with a large grant to expand your own mechanical workshop. This will be a breakthrough in your career, Liam. You won't just be a mechanic anymore. You'll be the leader, the founder of your own business, sponsored and developed by the Anderson Group." Liam couldn't believe it. A separate business? Funding to expand his facility? He'd been working in a small mechanical workshop for years, and now, such a great opportunity was opening up before him. "And one more thing," Michael said, his eyes becoming more serious. "We're not just giving you this opportunity because of your talent. We've heard about your son, and we're not just going to help you, we're going to help Noah. His future is important, and we want him to be educated and raised in the best environment possible. This is a chance for both of us to step into a bright future together." Liam felt his heart sink. This wasn't just an opportunity for him, but a bright future for Noah, his son. Suddenly, everything he'd done to protect and raise him seemed to make sense. Liam slowly opened the suitcase, looking at the long contracts. All he could think about was Noah and the dreams he would help his son realize. He signed the contract, and as soon as his signature dried on the paper, a completely different feeling enveloped him. A new door opened, not just for him, but for Noah. A great opportunity, a new life. Michael looked at Liam again, his eyes gentle but full of confidence. "Congratulations, Liam. This is the first step, and it will change everything." With the card the old man had given him, with the luxury SUVs parked right in front of the house, Liam knew that this was not the end, but a new beginning. A new life had begun, where he would no longer have to face all the difficulties alone. Now, he could build a promising future for himself and for the only son he loved.